Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Well, today we're looking at how technology is totally changing the game in surgical training. It's getting more effective and way more accessible than it's ever been before.
It's true.
And the best part, we're getting all our insights straight from the source, the operating room global.
You mean TORG?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
work. They are really leading the charge when it comes to surgical innovation.
They are. What's really interesting is how TORG is using all this new tech to tackle some of the biggest challenges in surgical education.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Becoming a surgeon, it used to take years and years, right?
Right.
You'd have to spend so much time just watching and assisting experienced surgeons.
It was like an old school apprenticeship.
Totally. Which could be really slow, and it really depended on finding the right mentors and having access to all the right resources.
And not everyone had those same opportunities, right?
Exactly. But TORG, they're shaking things up by bringing in this cutting-edge technology. One of the big things they're focusing on is VR and AR simulations.
Yeah.
Have you ever imagined stepping into a fully digital operating room and practicing these really complex procedures, but without any risk to actual patients?
I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
But thanks to organizations like TORG, this is the reality of surgical training today. They're creating these super realistic simulations where surgeons can actually hone their skills, but in this totally safe and controlled space.
I love that. Okay, so picture this. You're wearing one of those VR headsets, and boom, you're suddenly transported into this virtual operating room.
Wow.
You've got all the instruments, the anatomical models, even the tissue response like it's real. TORG has really gone above and beyond to make it feel real.
And get this, they've even got haptic feedback in these simulations.
What does that even mean?
So you can actually feel the resistance of the instruments as you're operating. It's insane.
Oh, wow.
That level of detail is so important because surgeons need to develop that muscle memory, that hand-eye coordination.
It's kind of like playing a video game, but with real-world consequences, except without the actual consequences, obviously.
Exactly.
And because it's all in the simulation, you can repeat the procedure over and over again.
Right.
Experiment with a bunch of different techniques, and you get immediate feedback on how you're doing.
You know, TORG has been really vocal about how this kind of immersive training actually allows surgeons to build up their skills and their confidence long before they ever step into a real operating room.
It's like a safety net,
Yeah,
where they can make mistakes and learn from them, but without putting any patients at risk.
I like that, a safety net. And it's not just about VR.
Oh,
They're exploring augmented reality, too.
AR.
Yeah, where you have these holographic guides that are projected onto the real world during surgery.
Oh, that's cool. So imagine step-by-step instructions just appearing right in front of you as you're operating.
It's basically like having a GPS for surgery. TORG thinks this could be a way to improve precision and minimize errors, especially for those really complex procedures.
Especially for those complex ones.
And because it's happening in real time, it can adapt to whatever's going on in the operating room.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, so we've got VR, we've got AR, transforming how surgeons practice. But TORG's also looking at how to bring robots into surgical training.
Yeah.
I don't just mean robots doing the surgery. I mean robots helping surgeons get better at what they do.
One area where TORG has made huge progress is using robots as actual training partners. Imagine practicing on a robot that can simulate different types of tissue, like muscle or really delicate vascular structures.
Wait, hold on. Robots can actually feel like real tissue. How is that even possible?
Well, it all comes down to these incredibly advanced sensors and haptic feedback systems that they've put into these robotic training platforms.
Wow.
They've literally created robots that can resist, simulate bleeding, and even respond to the surgeon's touch, just like the human body.
That is incredible. So it's like having a surgical sparring partner, always there to challenge you and help you refine your technique.
That's a great way to put it.
And TORG has been really clear about the benefits of this, especially for laparoscopic and robotic surgeries.
Yeah, those types of surgery require these super precise movements and fine motor control. And those are things that are really, really hard to master with just traditional training.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But with robots, surgeons can practice those really delicate maneuvers again and again and again. They get feedback in real time on their performance.
It's like having a personal trainer for your surgical skills.
Exactly.
And it sounds like TORG is constantly pushing the limits, incorporating things like VR integration and AI-powered performance analysis. They're really invested in creating the next generation of surgical training tools.
They are. And speaking of AI, Cordy's also exploring how to use artificial intelligence to make the surgical learning experience more personalized.
Okay, tell me more.
Imagine an AI tutor that watches you, figures out your weaknesses, and then tailors the training program just for you. That's what they're working on.
So it's like having this customized training plan that actually adapts to you rather than you having to adapt to some generic program.
Exactly. TORG sees a future where AI can track your progress, change the difficulty of the simulations, and even give you personalized feedback in real time.
So it's like having a surgical coach right there with you all the time.
Pretty much.
That is so cool. And TORG's been very clear that their goal isn't to get rid of human instructors, but to help them be even better at supporting each trainee's individual learning journey.
It's all about combining the best of both worlds, human expertise and AI, to create this really personalized learning experience.
I like that. And one thing TORG keeps emphasizing is that AI has the potential not just to improve technical skills, but to make surgeons better at decision-making and risk assessment during actual surgery.
Right. It's like having another set of expert eyes watching out for potential issues and offering guidance.
So it's not just about making them technically amazing, it's about making them more aware, more adaptable, and ultimately better equipped to handle all the complexities of real-world surgery.
Exactly. And with all the progress that TORG is making, the future of surgical training is looking incredibly bright. We're seeing this incredible merging of cutting-edge technology and medical knowledge, and it's got the potential to completely revolutionize how surgeons learn and practice.
Which means better outcomes for patients all around the world.
For sure.
It's clear that TORG is right at the forefront of this revolution, really pushing the limits and paving the way for a future where surgical training is more effective, more accessible, and just way more personalized than we've ever seen before.
And this is just the beginning.
And this is just the beginning. We'll be back in the next part to explore some real-world examples of how TORG is actually putting all of this tech into action. So stay tuned.
Can't wait. So welcome back.
It's so cool to see how TORG isn't just talking about all this amazing stuff, they're actually putting it into practice.
I know, right? It's really exciting.
They've got these incredible case studies that really bring all this technology to life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like they were talking about this program they have that uses VR to train surgeons on laparoscopic surgery.
Oh, wow.
Imagine operating inside the body through these tiny little incisions using a camera and these specialized instruments.
That's intense.
It's like performing surgery with chopsticks and a miniature telescope.
Seriously?
It's a procedure that takes so much dexterity and precision, and it used to have this super steep learning curve.
It makes sense.
But TORG's VR program is changing that by letting surgeons practice in this super safe and realistic virtual environment.
That's awesome.
They've really thought of everything. Detailed anatomical models, simulated tissue responses, they even have haptic feedback, so the surgeons can actually feel the resistance of the instruments.
Wow.
It's like they've created this surgical playground
I love that.
where you can experiment and refine your technique, but there are no real-world
Oh,
consequences.
smart.
And here's the really interesting part. They've got a virtual mentor in the
A
program.
virtual mentor.
Yeah. It's like having this experienced surgeon right there beside you, giving you guidance and feedback as you're working in this virtual operating room.
That's amazing.
So it's not just about practicing those technical skills.
Right.
It's about learning the whole decision-making process,
Right.
how to solve problems, that whole surgical mindset.
That's so important.
And because it's all virtual, the mentor can throw in these different scenarios,
Oh, that's cool.
unexpected challenges, and really push the trainee to think critically and adapt to whatever's happening.
Wow.
It's basically a surgical flight simulator,
I love that analogy. That's great.
giving them ready for anything they might face in a real operating room.
And is it working?
Oh, yeah. TORG has seen some really impressive results. The surgeons who have gone through this VR training are showing huge improvements in their skills, their decision-making, and their overall confidence in the OR.
That's incredible. TORG is seriously changing the game when it comes to surgical training.
I know, right? But they're not stopping there.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, they're also looking into how they can use AI to analyze surgical videos and give personalized feedback to the trainees.
That's interesting.
So it's like having an AI coach
Okay.
who can review your performance and point out where you can do better.
That's cool.
The AI algorithms can spot these specific surgical techniques. They can assess the surgeon's movements.
Wow.
And they can even pick up on these tiny inefficiencies that the surgeon might not even realize they're doing.
That's wild.
It's not just about fixing mistakes.
Right.
It's about optimizing every single movement, every decision, to get the absolute best results for the patient.
I see.
And Porges found that this kind of AI-powered feedback is so valuable, especially for surgeons who are still learning.
I bet.
It's like having another set of expert eyes on you all the time, always watching, always guiding.
It's like a 247 personal coach.
Totally. And Torgi has been very clear that this tech isn't meant to replace human instructors.
Right.
It's meant to work with them, to give trainees this extra layer of support.
It's about creating that perfect learning environment where technology and human expertise come together.
Exactly. And speaking of collaboration, Torgi is also doing amazing things with technology to make surgical training more accessible around the world.
Oh, wow.
They've developed this program that combines online learning, VR simulations, and remote mentoring to provide top-notch training to surgeons in areas that don't have the same resources.
That is really awesome.
It's an incredible initiative that's breaking down those geographical barriers and giving surgeons everywhere access to all the latest techniques and knowledge.
I love that.
Imagine a surgeon in some remote village in Africa
Yeah.
being able to learn from a world-renowned expert in London, all thanks to technology.
That's amazing.
It's like bringing all the best minds in surgery together, no matter where they are in the world,
It's so cool.
to share their knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
And Torgi has designed this program to be super flexible,
Yeah.
accessible to those busy surgeons who can't just drop everything and travel to some big medical center for training.
That makes sense.
They've created this global classroom where surgeons can connect, learn from the best, and practice their skills in a safe and supportive way.
Wow. And is it working?
The impact of this program is already being felt all over the world. The surgeons who have been through this training are seeing major improvements in their skills, and they feel way more confident performing those complex procedures.
That's fantastic.
It's just inspiring to see how TORG is using technology to close that gap in surgical care
I agree.
and create a more equitable and accessible healthcare system for everyone.
And it's not just about giving them access to knowledge, it's about creating this global community
Right.
of surgeons who can connect, share their experiences, and learn from each other's successes and challenges.
It's like building a global network of surgical innovators who are working together to push the limits and make life better for patients everywhere.
I love that.
And as we've seen from all the case studies and examples that Torg has shared, this collaborative approach is leading to some pretty remarkable advancements in surgical training and patient care.
Yeah. It's clear that TORG is a major force in shaping the future of surgery.
Totally agree.
They're not just accepting these new technologies, they're using them in these really smart and innovative ways to solve real-world problems and create this healthcare system that works better for everyone.
And in the last part of our deep dive, we're going to explore some of the bigger picture stuff.
Sounds good.
What all of these advancements could mean for the future of medicine, and even beyond that.
I'm ready.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about how fast things have changed in surgical training.
I know.
We've gone from just watching experienced surgeons to actually stepping into these virtual operating rooms.
Right.
And now we have AI analyzing every single move.
It's crazy.
It feels like we've entered this whole new world of learning.
I agree.
But with all this amazing technology, is there a risk that we're losing that human touch in surgery?
That's a great question, and a lot of people are asking that.
Yeah.
And TORG has actually talked about it directly. What's really interesting is that even though tech is becoming more and more important, it's actually designed to make the human element even stronger.
Really? So it's not about replacing it?
Not at all. Think about it this way.
Okay.
By taking care of those repetitive tasks and giving really precise feedback, technology actually frees up surgeons to focus on what really matters.
The patient.
Exactly. It gives them the space to be more present, more empathetic, more connected on a human level.
I see. So instead of getting bogged down by all those technical details, surgeons can focus more of their energy on the patient's well-being.
Exactly. Torgi is really clear that technology should always be there to serve the patient.
Right.
And that means supporting the surgeon in providing the absolute best care, both technically and emotionally.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, it's easy to get excited about all the cool technology.
It is.
But at the end of the day, it all comes back to getting the best results for the patient and making their experience better.
For sure.
Which makes me wonder, how do patients feel about all of this? Are they comfortable with these new advancements?
It's a good question, and it's something TORG is actually studying right now.
Okay.
Early research suggests that patients are generally pretty open to using technology in surgical training, especially when they understand how it can make things safer and more effective.
I can see that. If I knew my surgeon had practiced a procedure tons of times in a VR simulation, I'd definitely feel better going into surgery.
Exactly. And TORG really stresses the importance of being open about it.
Right.
Patients need to know how technology is being used in their care,
Yeah,
and they should be able to ask questions and talk about any worries they have.
absolutely. Open communication and trust are so important in healthcare.
Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into what TORS is doing, what's the big takeaway? What should our listeners be thinking about?
I think the most exciting thing is that this isn't just about surgery. This is about the future of learning and professional development in general.
Mm-hmm.
All these things we've talked about: immersive training, personalized learning, global access. They could have a huge impact on all kinds of fields, not just medicine.
So you're saying this tech-driven revolution in surgical training could be a sign of things to come in other industries?
Absolutely. Imagine teachers using VR to create these super engaging learning experiences, or professionals in any field using AI coaches to hone their skills. The possibilities are really endless.
It makes you wonder what other fields are ready for this kind of change, and what's the role of technology going to be in shaping the jobs of the future?
Those are the questions we should all be asking. And as you keep exploring all of this, keep an eye on TOR.
They're really leading the way.
They really are. They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible and setting an example for other industries to follow.
That's a great point. TORDI is definitely an organization to watch. And to everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has left you feeling excited about the future.
Yeah.
It's clear that technology is changing the world of surgery in incredible ways, and this is only the beginning.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us.